Oh,
Was I muted?
hey everyone. I think so.
My
Hey
bad.
everyone. Ryan
Welcome to
Peace.
Schmoedown, everybody. We've off to a good start so far. Nice technical difficulties, just to let you know that not everything's perfect, but that's fine. My name is Ryan Payne. I'm one of the co-hosts here from Schmoedown, and with me is my I won't say my lieutenant or my number two, but my co-host Ben Rayner. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to talk about player today. It's been a long time coming for us, so this is going to be a good one.
It really has. I mean, since we cooked up this whole thing, he was one of immediately the first 5 we listed down about players to talk about here. But we felt it would have been a little too early. But yeah, this feels like a great time to talk about him. And everyone, if you're still wondering who are we talking about, if you click the episode, it's obvious. We are talking about Mark Baby Carrots Ellis, the second Schmo, the second face on the Rushmo, the Mount Rushmore of Schmoes of the Schmoedown. I mean, however you want to name that mountain. So that's, like we've said before, it's like a hall of champions. Like Mark Ellis is one of the first and the last faces you see when you're walking down that hall. But before we continue on, Ben and I are not alone. As you all see, we have with us from the JCast Network. I know French. I know when you're on stereo, it's mainly just JCast. But I mean, welcome. I don't know how to address you here. It feels like you got like a busy day ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay. You can just call me Jay.
All right, no problem, man. But Jay, nice. I'm so glad that you agreed to join us on this episode.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. I'm a big fan of Baby Carrots. Like I said before we started, his entrances too just always got me. So yeah, he's definitely up there on the Mount Schmoedown, or is it Mount Schmoed? Or hold on, Dagan, actually, of a viewer of a bunch of shows. What did he call it? Mount Rushmo, I think is what he calls it.
Yeah. He's called it Rushmo. I know Brad and Jen, when they had their show come up next, they were trying to call it Rushmo. Some were saying it's the Schmo, just the
Hall of Fame.
Olympics. I don't know. Like they're trying to really get that nice wordplay going on there. Just the Schmo Rushmore, the Rushmo. I don't know. Someone actually thought the Schmoedown. I came across someone in a chat who thought the Schmoedown was mainly what they called the Mount Rushmore of the Schmoedown. So I'm like, oh, well, nobody else really knows it has a name for this.
Yep. Mount Rushmo or whatever. I don't know. I can't even think about it. It's one of those tongue twisters. But anyway, I digress.
No, either way. I mean, we could have spent like maybe an extra 15, 20 minutes trying to create a litany of answers. Well, yes.
Mount Rushmo.
Yeah, all right. I appreciate that, David, 100%. But yes, guys, you are here. Baby Carrots Mark Ellis. I mean, if you all are you should definitely be familiar with him. I mean, to general audiences who came in probably maybe around season 7 or 6, or even now, they mainly know Mark Ellis as that guy behind the desk who's always nice in a 3-piece suit, and has got himself a portrait of him and his dog Molly like right behind him. And he's a very damn good funny comedian, I should say. That's to put it lightly. I'm pretty sure Christian and they have so many extra bonus content of Mark Ellis just cracking jokes or coming up with nice spiffy one-liners.
One of these days, I hope as a Patreon exclusive, maybe they'll put out a 15-minute clip of all of Mark Ellis's one-liners. That would be nice.
Yeah, I've often wondered how many of those one-liners does he write down ahead of time, catered to each match with each competitor and manager, and then just has a list of them and just cherry picks through there. How many of it is that, and how much of it is just off the top of his head? I would love to know.
I have that same question, man. A part of me thinks it's a mixture of both. Like he'll have like some stuff pre-written or like planned out ahead of time, but then depending on like whoever is on the desk with him or who's ever the manager at the time, like either it's Sam, Kaiser, or he's got Coy or Winston on there, I think he has no problem saying something off the cuff to keep things moving, especially with this digital stuff. I mean, who knows exactly how long it's going to take to.
Uh-oh.
Did I just pause for a second, guys?
Yeah, you froze up there for a minute.
Yeah.
Wow. We had some major issues on speaking of Schmoedown today. Also, it's just one of those days, man. It's happening to everyone.
Oh, great.
Anyway, oh boy.
Well, baby carrots.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite match with him?
I don't know that I have a favorite match, but I do have a favorite moment. That press conference that he did with the Outlaw John Roca. Hello, sir.
Oh, actually, that is a good fucking moment. That's a really good moment.
How can you not love Wendy Lee? You know, and she comes out and announces the commissioner, and Christian comes out and thanks the press for being there. It's just so awesome. And then, you know, they got Baby Carrots comes out and sets with his title belt. Roca comes out with his mask on. I shouldn't even be here. I should be studying. I got better stuff to do. It's just so great, dude. They should do more of those kind of press conferences when they get back to live matches and stuff like that. That would be great.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I do agree 100%. We do need to get, whenever the studio's back in, really start getting back to more press conferences. I know, I mean, I like that in studio atmosphere. That's one of the reasons why Mark Ellis works so well when it came with the studio, was because he just knew how to feed off the audience because of his experience as a comedian. And also you see how it works so well with him as a Schmoedown player. Like, this is one guy who, he was there to play for the competition, but he was also there to play for fun. Like, in those earlier days of the Schmoes Knows, and of course when they started off very early, season 3 of Collider, I was just amazed at how relaxed how he was able to pull off being so relaxed and calm during matches, especially on the desk, to where anything could have happened, especially if we look at the Schmoes Knows era when they were all in that little tiny cramped area where they had to always, like, I mean, they had that couch, they had that desk, they had to be real professional up front, but then once you change that camera and you go to the walkway area to where you had Ken, Josh there, it's like, literally, you almost think that, especially with all the lights, you have no idea if they had any sense of air conditioning in that room. Just to do a simple entertainment news and interview show, to switch into a Schmoedown. I mean, to a trivia show.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think one of my.
Oh, go right ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think one of my favorite entrances that Baby Carrots did is, I believe did he play McCougar once or twice?
He played him once.
Okay. When he came out and played McCougar, they played the theme song for Friends, and you could tell how much fun those two were having playing against each other. It wasn't for anything big or anything. It was just two friends playing a simple trivia match together. Him versus McCougar, and that was a really fun moment for me.
Yeah.
I do agree. Mark, his friend's entrance, just like that, it was really seeing the early seasons of the Schmoedown, like season 3 and 4. You saw exactly how much fun everybody was having there. Like when we were talking about Perry Nemiroff and we're talking about Tough Beats, their entrances were just for the fun of it, especially when they did the Footloose entrance, how they got everybody to come out and dance with them. To even later on in season 6 when Bibiani was the champion, you see him. I don't know what musical number he was doing in his match against John Roca. I think it was the song from Top Gun to when they're all singing in the bar. But yeah, he's able to bring everybody out, sing along with them. Even if they didn't know how to sing the songs, it was just more of, you're just here for the fun, for the atmosphere. And that's one thing we get from Mark Ellis's entrances that I truly do miss and I truly do love.
Yeah, those suits especially.
Another one of my favorite entrances is, I forget who it was. It might have been Dan, it might have been Roka. But it was what, tournament? And I believe it was for a spectacular. And Mark just flew in from somewhere. So his entrance was, he came in the match with luggage, with a suitcase bag.
Yeah.
And I
That's
can't
second
remember.
free-for-all.
What was it?
I was saying, is that second free-for-all, yeah?
Okay. That was really fun, too.
Yeah. Maybe you guys could answer something for me. I'm not aware of how he got the name Baby Carrots. I would assume that maybe he always took baby carrots to lunch or as a snack to work or something. I don't know. Do you guys know?
I think it's maybe a oh, if you know, Ben, go for it. I really don't know for the life of me, honestly.
I think he came out once in an orange jumpsuit and looked like a carrot. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was tied to the trivia show. I thought it was mainly just an inside joke for like the Schmoes knows, because it's definitely the way that Christian was able to call him Baby Carrots so effortlessly made it look like it was just like an inside joke between the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered, but I never asked anyone if they knew. So, but yeah, I mean the orange suits, that very well could be it. Didn't he actually come out wearing a carrot costume once?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I don't know if it was his match against Stacey Howard or if it was when he faced Clark Wolf, but man, just seeing that one time he comes out dressed like a carrot, I'm going, oh, this is just too perfect. I mean, it's much more better when he came out in that big red jumpsuit as the devil in his match against JTE, like in that Schmoedown. I mean, he had AC/DC playing in for the build-up, and then the moment Ken signals, like, come on in, walks in, he just floors everybody. Christian, Roxy, Makuga, Ken, Mark, I mean, they're all laughing in the back. Everybody is just cracking up seeing Mark in that tight, like, red jumpsuit. And then JTE is just sitting next to him with, like, a big American flag. It's more of a huge contrast there. But it was just so hilarious seeing the fact that Ellis had no shame in the world. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to put this on. I don't care if, you're sitting 3 feet ahead from me. And you can tell, and you can spot I got, like, a nice bulge going on. I'm here just for the fun of it and to freak you out.
Yeah.
I have a question. What season was it whenever the category comedies came up, people started laughing about it?
Well, this was definitely, I think, maybe season 6 or somewhere in season 5, because Ellis, he started, I know sometime in season 5 or 6, Ellis, every time comedy came up, he just did the
yeah.
And then the crowd just started building off of it. And then finally, I know season 6, it was a damn staple to where comedies. Oh, the first
Okay.
free for all. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. Oh my God.
Thank you, Leo.
That's awesome.
But going on, but yeah, nice transitioning moment to Mark Ellis on the desk. I mean, seriously, if he was, even if he was still competing till today, I could not see a Schmoedown match happening without seeing Mark Ellis on the desk, either as a commentator, as a main co-host. I mean, he's never been an interviewer, but he's literally like when it comes to ESPN or so, he's like one of the instant faces you see the moment the Schmoedown starts. And whenever you don't see him on the desk, you think, wait, what happened to Mark? That's like the first query that comes to your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, what is it going to be like when the day comes that either one of them or both will win one of them, but both of them step down and someone else takes over at the desk completely? Man, I don't want to think about that day.
That's not
Actually, it's kind of funny because we almost kind of had that. Actually, I think earlier season 5. I mean, when Christian, like season 6, when Christian was moving from leaving Collider to do the production for their own, Mark Ellis was doing a lot of touring dates, and I remember one conversation did come up to where Christian said we might have to. Ellis was considering like taking some time away, like almost walking away from the Schmoedown, because I remember season 6 they had so many new faces on the desk. Ken was a majority staple there, and then you would occasionally see Mark. And I was just, wow. It almost felt like season 7 was officially going to be it. He is officially stepping away. But then, pandemic happens, and, he's back on the desk. And we're seeing, digitally, he's back on. So we're seeing him every single day. But that is a good one, Jay. I mean, sooner or later, depending on what happens. Mark, he is a great comedian. If he wants to pursue, like, his career again, I'm not holding that against him. But I'm going to cherish almost every match we see him on screen.
I honestly think Ken will be back behind the deck at some point this season. I think it will be Ken and Mark, and I don't know when, but I have a feeling at some point this season the majority of the matches will be called by Ken and Mark. That's my guess. No insider knowledge or anything, is pure guessing here.
Just a theory, right?
Yeah, a theory.
No, I can agree with that. Actually, I've had and nothing to base it off of, but I've kind of had the feeling that Christian has been not only from Schmoedown, but especially at SEN because of Schmoedown. He's been not distancing himself, but he's not been on SEN live as much. And he has not. Man, he's doing a lot of different things, and I could see him leaving the desk, and that's maybe what a lot of the introduction of the Grace storyline is. Maybe this season is starting to phase Christian out a little bit more. I don't know. I would hope not, but he's got a lot of stuff going on, man. It's I would imagine that trying to do the Schmoedown as your full-time job isn't going to pay the bills. You know what I mean? It helps, but you got to maybe focus more on other things that will pay the bills. But who knows, man? But Baby Carrots, one thing about him is, how does he stand all that time? Like in his living room, he stands the entire time for those matches.
Yeah, he has body posture. I'm going like, does he got like a high chair, or is he really standing? And then of course when you see him like move around, like, oh no, this dude, he is standing. Especially now with these throwdowns and these constant pay-per-views, he is not moving for one bit. I mean, of course he's moving side to side, but geez, this guy is showing so much like professional. Like his core strength and his leg game must be that damn strong in order for him to stand throughout an entire match. I mean, just seeing Christian sit down, you can tell he gets frustrated.
Yeah, and then I just thought about it. He is also a stand-up comedian, so he's had years and years.
Right.
It just hit me. I asked the question, and the answer is so obvious. He's a stand-up comedian. That's how he does it.
Yeah.
Years of practice.
So many years, but let's but we can continue to keep talking more. But how about like a quick, just like our general impressions of Mark of Ellis as a player? Honestly, of course, it was even though his career was very short, he still left a very strong impression. Obviously, because the first Schmoedown team's champion. I think he was the first person to challenge down Dan Murrow for the championship. He and Christian, while they're not as dominant as a team, but Team Schmoes, I mean, they had some great. No, wait, oh my God, I just remember the DTE match wasn't the only time he had that skin tight devil suit. It was their team's match against Box Office Breakdown. He brought that back.
Yeah,
but beyond that, what I was saying, like, yeah, team's champion. I mean, season 3, he had the potential to become a single champion as well. It was obvious in season 4 they changed up the rules, and they changed it when they were becoming more with whiteboards. Ellis was becoming more or less of like off the top of the head knowledge and more of actually having to think about what the answer is. But even then, I still think he was a good player. I kind of felt like if he was given more time, he could have had himself a good run in season 5, personally, in my mind.
Well, let me ask you, between on Team Schmoes, between Harloff and Ellis, who is the A player and who is the B player, would you guys say?
Well,
honestly, I don't. I'm not going to answer that directly, but I'll just say what I'm thinking, which kind of answers that. If Ellis and Harloff are going 1-on-1, I'm taking Ellis over Harloff. I have a feeling like, yes, Christian. I think Ellis is the guy behind the scenes who really knows a lot more than what people think he does. If that makes sense,
it does. It really does.
Yeah.
But then again, on the flip side of that, he was really good for his time, but the question writing is to such a level now that I don't think he could keep up with today's questions. And that's a compliment to the questions and how good they are and how they're worded and stuff like that. I mean, because it has evolved so much over the last 2 years alone.
It's literal leaps and bounds, honestly. And it's really not a dig at him as a player, honestly, because we've even seen guys like Josh McCouga who could easily dominate just by guessing their way to the top are now having issues like really working with this new form of questioning. And even then, it's been apparent that the questions themselves have become more like you either have seen this movie or you haven't. Those kind of questions. It's never maybe 1 out of 5 times you'll be able to guess your way into the right answer, but the margins are becoming slimmer and slimmer, and I'm pretty sure maybe by next year it's going to get even thinner now because for this season they reset everything to where questions that were used in the old eras were coming back. And Inner Geekdom, they reshuffled and reshaped that division to where probably next year it's no longer going to be a mixture of surface questions for IG, and we're going to get back into the deep cut stuff that dominated when Kevin Smets came in, when Chandru came in, So, but yeah, all 100% a huge compliment to the question writers. But I still think that if Mark Ellis, if that Baby Carrots was given more time, maybe to learn the new function of the questions, since he does work behind the desk, it would help. I mean, I think that's why him behind the desk does give him a bit of a bonus insight into how the questions are being written.
Yeah,
because he's able to look at these formats. So when if let's say he gets scheduled a match, he doesn't have to worry about what's being given to him. He's aware of how the questions will be written, so that could help really get him in the right mental headspace to really maybe put on like a damn decent good performance. Maybe I'm not gonna say like knockout kind of a performance, but I would say maybe if I would compare, if Mark Ellis was still playing, I would say he could somewhere to be where like Mike Kalinowski or Chance Ellison would be when it comes to questions.
Well, let me ask you, do you think if he put in the study time, could he go above that? Could he be a title contender?
I think if he had study time and maybe a good like support fan base that was willing to give him really make mock matches for him, I think he could be a title contender.
Title contender, I think, is going a little too far. He could contend, but I still think he would only be able to contend to a point. And it's nothing against him or anything, or even no matter how hard he studied or anything. I just think the game has developed and the question writing has gotten so much better and so much more intelligent on a higher level. I think it may be a situation where he's a little bit too far behind to catch up enough to make a title run. But I mean, he could definitely compete at a certain level.
That's also a great I'm trying to say perspective. Yeah, that's also another great perspective, because It really is difficult. I mean, seeing like with some of the matches that we've had, I mean, seeing how Mark Riley, who's been in this game for so long, his match against Bateman, as you saw with him, and then even season 7, or with Perry Nemiroff when she came back.
Yeah,
I mean, seeing how she was able to bounce back. So you do have a point. He can be a contender without a doubt. But definitely when it comes against guys like Collins or Brendan Meyer or Chance Ellison or Paul Yama, he may be one of those people who would struggle a little bit.
I think if he had time and if he had mock matches and if he did all that, I could see him being on the same level as a Mark Riley. I think that's a perfect comparison.
No, it's a good proven comparison. It really is.
But also, just on the flip side of that, for me, nothing against Riley, but I think the game has developed past Riley, and I don't think he's a title contender anymore. I don't think he's going to be a title contender anymore either. It's just moving so fast, and I hate to say it, but within the next couple years, for sure, I'm afraid that Roka might not be able to keep up with it in its advancements and everything. But I can definitely see Roka will definitely be a manager in the future.
Oh yeah,
100%. But that's not baby carrots. So I didn't mean to get off track, but
no, that's fine. Hey, look, man. On most of our episodes, we tend to, I won't say divert away from the person we're talking about, but we like to do these nice little comparisons with other players just to get an idea to where Mark Ellis, where guys like Mark Ellis who are retired, where would they fit in these new season matches? And but look at his old season matches, though. I mean, just in the season 3, he had himself like a very good, decent winning streak. Actually, earlier on in, he was a dominant player. I mean, his only loss until he had lost to Merle was against JTE. And that was during the time when they were using in Schmo's Nose, where the third round was pretty much the betting round mainly. They bet whatever points for the victory. And Mark Ellis only lost to JTE because he didn't bet enough points to beat him. He knew the same answer as JTE did, but he only bet 1 point to where JTE, he bet it all in order to beat him. Yeah. And then, of course, and then later on in season 3, Ellis gets his revenge against JTE. You see when he's not doing the betting round and he's actually just playing point for point, question for question, beats JTE. Well, actually, they go into sudden death, but even then, he still beats him. And that's kind of funny. It's one of the first sudden death matches they had in the Schmoedown, actually. Season 3 match, JT versus Riley, the first sudden death match they had afterwards. But even then, that sudden death was completely different than it is today.
I was watching the Ellis and Dan match from Spectacular 2.
Wait, Ellis was playing in that match?
What?
I swear Santa Claus was playing against Dan Merle.
You know what? My mistake. I meant Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
I mean, look, I'm not saying that Ellis was sick or anything or that Ellis was running in traffic, but it was clear to me that Ellis, he worked very hard to get to it. And I think Santa decided, like, hey, you brought so much joy to the Schmoedown. Why don't you do my job for the night and I will do this match for you as a good solid. And so Mark was able to fly around the world within a day. Well, Santa Claus got to stay there and play against Merle. I mean, but go ahead, Ben.
My point is, Santa Claus took Dan to the final question. Damn, that was impressive. And, well, I don't want to say anything, but...
It's an old match, but go ahead.
It's an old match, but...
People want to actually watch it. Yeah, people actually want to go watch it. Okay, I see where you're going.
But, no, I didn't know that even to this day, even to matches that we most recently saw, people could still take Dan to the final question.
No.
That's true. That is true. And it is kind of amazing how Dan at that time was on this dominating run as champion. Oh, no, he wasn't the first person. Clark Wolf was the first person to challenge Dan. But even then, seeing that dominating run he had all the way up to the first Spectacular, going up against Ellis, Santa Claus, how he goes up against Santa Claus, and Santa, through just being jolly and through sheer force of will puts into that 5-pointer. And amazingly, if Dan had missed that, we would have had a new champion out of Santa Claus. I mean, and it was the same night Ellis lost the team's belts to top 10, like in a TKO nonetheless. So if Santa Claus had won that belt for Ellis, that would have been like a great turnaround to where Ellis could have started the new season as champion.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Who would win in this match? Team Schmoes or John and JTE on the team?
Funny you bring up John and JTE, how now they're both as a team, and their team name is Rushmore.
I'd have to go with Roca and JTE. And again, it's not knowledge based. It goes back to, it's been so long since Ellis and Christian have really played at a high competitive level in the Schmoedown. So I just, for that reason, JTE and Roca are more I guess they went to spring training before the baseball season started, whereas Christian and Ellis have been calling the games from the booth for 3 years. Yeah. So,
I mean, I recently just watched this movie, so it's also a great analogy. It's like in the D2 Mighty Ducks. The Schmoes are pretty much the Mighty Ducks team over the summer that didn't practice or train, while Team USA, the new guys, which is Roca and JTE, they have pretty much been training pretty much every summer because they know they're about to enter into these like this grand tournament, the Olympic style tournament. So it's just more of, Ken would ask you guys practice? And then Mark goes, oh, that's what we were supposed to be doing?
Look back and take back, Jack.
But actually, the question yourself you brought up, we did at the time when the exhibition, when Schmoedown was doing Patreon, some of the exhibition matches we did get was a reuniting of Team Schmoes versus Team Patriots. While the Patriots did win, it was nice to see Earl and, did I say Merle? I meant Ellis and Harlow.
I thought you said Earl. Yeah. I was like, who is Earl?
That's the team. That's the new team of Mark Ellis and Dan Merle.
I like it. Earl.
Team Earl. But yes, actually, it's funny. Even though Ellis is not a contender, he did play in 3 separate matches outside of the Schmoedown. Obviously, 2 were the Patreon matches. Him versus Christian, that 5-rounder, which Christian won, and then versus Team Patriots, which the Patriots also won. And then his match with Roca won that damn rematch that he got during the Smash-a-thon. So we do get to see. So judging from those 3 matches, we do get to see Mark Ellis. Bringing back to our previous conversation where Mark Ellis would stand, he was still playing. We would have an idea that he would not be a title contender, but he would be a contender in a sense. But then at the same time, he would have that mental aspect of playing the game for fun, not playing the game to dominate, like what Roca, Bateman, and JTE and so many others are trying to do.
Which might actually work to his benefit because he's playing more loose, as where Roca and others would be more trying to, they might get in their head a little bit more trying to think about things.
That reminds me of that match from last season with Perry against Mike.
Yes.
Perry went in just to have fun. Let's face it, Mike went in with all that baggage that every player goes into every match with. So maybe that does play into some of these returning players. They didn't come in for fun, and sometimes that helps quite a bit.
It does play a lot more into strategy and the mental headspace. I mean, not just that with Perry and Kalinowski. We also saw that with Riley in his matches. I mean, when he was playing for fun, he beats Perry, and I know in his first match he wins. He nearly goes to he doesn't beat Snyder though, but he nearly goes toe to toe with Snyder through almost. Wait, he did play Snyder in season 7. I don't want to get too much in my head here, but just bringing things up. I mean, I'm pretty sure people in the chat will let us know who Riley had faced in the tournament. But even then, yeah, coming in playing loose, not too much focused on what your opponents are strong at, where the wheel's gonna land, what you're gonna.
I'm sorry. I think he played video too. And then
Yeah, his first match was against Drew. Then he played Perry, but like after Perry though, I'm pretty sure it was Snyder. If not, that's okay. Like that's why the wiki is there to remind us.
Exactly.
But even then, and another great example of a player that has been away from the game in a while, Mara Kanapik. She was season 2. She left season 6, came back, got her first match in season 8 to where the questions had drastically changed to where season 6, it was a bit of a mixture of deep cut questions. But then we see season 5. Yeah. But then we do see in season 8, more categories have been added to IG. Everything becomes more of a big melting pot to where you see Mara was able to pull out the victory, not only coming back in her first match, but we're getting the Inner Geekdom Championship. Now, I can't say that might happen with Ellis because it's clear IG and general trivia, 2 completely different bases of film knowledge. But even then, to say that Ellis can't come back and possibly maybe knock out a player, I'm not going to take that out. I'm not going to put that out of my mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It would depend on, like, he's not going to knock out Roca. I don't see that, or, but I mean, like, yes, he could knock someone out, but it would depend on.
I could see him take Roca as a 5-pointer.
What's that?
I was going to say, but I do see that he can take Roca to his 5-pointer. That's for sure.
Yeah. Just, oh man, baby carrots, Ellis.
Yeah,
I don't know. He just he's a man of many talents. When he's on the desk though at the light, when they're able to be in the studio and he's at the desk, I don't know. Because you get interaction with them, not just through a computer. They can sit at the desk and interact with the competitors somewhat face to face. Yeah, so that makes it even better. I don't know, man.
It's like they remove it. They remove that little that invisible wall between the computers at home because of the way that Mark, especially. I mean, look, season 7. As much as people may have had their little gripes with the whole interview with the managers and then bring on the players. To be honest, I think Ellis had so much, we got so much of Ellis during that time, talking with managers, having great back and forths with Kaiser, with Sam, with Coy and Venstock. To say that, I mean, it's gone now. It's obvious it's gone now because the fans didn't like that. But even then, just seeing how Mark, you wanted to talk about him standing. Looking at season 7, the fact that he's staying in his home, like doing a good 6-7 minutes with Christian, then maybe a 5-10 minutes with managers. Then we add in like maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes of total play time. And then maybe we switch to, of course, after the interviews and they come back and close off. Depending on how long the matches are, Mark Ellis probably did maybe a majority. Like, let's say we had an hour match from season 7. Mark Ellis was most likely on his feet for 40 to 45 minutes of that time. And then we want to add in everything else. I mean, come on. I'm never, ever going to doubt how talented and how versatile Mark Baby Carrots is around by the desk, how professional he is. Because that's one thing he shows every time he's on that desk. He's always showing professionalism. You don't ever see him break, especially during challenges when things get a little frustrating. He's just there. He's there to listen, hear your complaints, and then bring up the then he will bring up the challenges.
Sometimes he makes players break. Don't forget what happened with Goddard last year. Caw.
Yeah. Oh, Goddard. That was funny. I
couldn't definitely not on Ellis. I'd never believed that.
Yeah, he reacted the way he did, Goddard. I was like, dude, just be quiet and keep going, buddy.
You didn't need to let that get in your head, Ben. I mean, I get it, you're new, but if you are a fan of the Schmoedown, you technically should be aware that Mark Ellis is going to be doing these little nice these subtle jokes, these off subtle key comments. Like, it's not more like Ben. It's not like it's 100% his fault. I'm just saying he should not have made that a big deal. And now it's tied with him. Now it's tied with him, just like on with SCN during his early years when he was just sitting in the back. Everybody gave him shit, and it was just more of you kind of had to take it. Now this is just with the schmoes and people around Schmoedown SCN audience. That's a different matter entirely. So, but even then, kind of like these guys, if Mark or Christian or Roka or Winston's gonna bust your balls, man, just be glad that they're actually busting your balls because they like you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree. Christian, obviously Christian is the face of the Schmoedown. And I, Mark is often overlooked. But I mean, they started this baby together, and Christian, there's no way he could have done it all on his own. So no, Mark deserves a lot of credit in that area as well, not only as a competitor in the past and his work on the desk today, but without him, it wouldn't be founded and started and what it is today. So yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
Going on, I mean, 100% agreeing. And Mark, I do, and even then, looking at his old matches, I do enjoy how competitive he was and how fun he brought everything to. Like as I mentioned, his match against JTE, his match against Makuga, loved it with that Friends entrance. My also a personal favorite match of mine is his match against Clark Wolf when he comes out again. Once with that orange, he comes out with that orange suit, looking like Hulk, doing his whole Hulk Hogan impression, and just sitting across the desk from him. All the matches I've watched, his singles matches, everybody is so at ease, especially Roka when he was being full heel in his match. And when I saw in his match against Roka tried to be more of the bad guy, like, hey, I'm gonna take these baby carrots you're eating, I'm gonna put them in a blender and I'm gonna drink them after the match is over. But the fact that Ellis is just more of like, oh, okay, you're gonna do that, I'm just gonna sit here keep chomping on these carrots. It was kind of like, I'm not gonna say he didn't take you seriously, but he was kind of like he's no selling your attitude. That's why to me I thought he was a great foil to Roka, and why I think he's such a great foil to when Ken was a heel on the desk. It was just more of, okay, you're saying this stuff, I'm continuing on it. And some of the great stuff they got to be a part of. Like, I still love the fact that Ken and Ellis were on the desk for that Shazam entrance to when Shazam was on the desk. That was hilarious. The way that they sold the whole character, that they sold that entrance.
Absolutely. I didn't think Ellis had a what do you call it? Calming over
Yeah, an aura,
about him. And if you're around him, he'll calm you down and make you feel at ease. And this thing is something they need sometimes.
Yeah. Because Christian, he doesn't. Let me think here. When Christian gets frustrated, it's noticeable visually and not verbally. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't like rant and stuff like that, but you can tell by his body language and his facial expressions he's frustrated. Whereas Ellis, you can't tell if he's frustrated about anything or not.
That's true. He really gives you nothing. I mean, you'll see him laugh, you'll see him break in joy. But if you're trying to get into this guy's headspace negatively or like to psychologically psych him out, you are getting nothing from him because it just shows you how stoic, like professional he is. Like, he's that committed to his character, committed to the game. That you throw a nice little, like if Kaiser wants to throw a joke out at Ellis will just be like, and anyway, Kaiser.
Yep.
Like, it's almost as if you'd want to make a bet. When is the moment you're actually going to see Mark Ellis get frustrated or mad on screen? I'm pretty sure that happened during pre-recordings, but the fact that you don't see that happening live is like just a show of, like, it's just it's very impressive. Honestly, it really is.
Absolutely. And this thing would not be the same without him. 100%.
Yeah.
The two of them, Christian and Ellis, they give so much to this, and you can tell. they have fun doing it too.
That's, I mean, I know you brought this up, Jay, and I know we even touched on it, and even I did say we came close to losing him during the season 6 era, but the day he is gone, like from the Schmoedown, the day he finally, like, he's not there full time, but it's really gonna be like this wound you're gonna feel like every show. I mean, it's gonna be. Look, I'm not gonna be someone to drag my heels and go, no, stay with us as long as you want, Ellis. Like, no. If you want to do something more with your career, with your life, that is more to you. We've had so many Schmoedown players, personalities come in, and now they've moved on. And it's just more of like, yeah, I want to see them stick around as long as possible. But you know what? I'm not on the Facebook pages or hounding Christian on Twitter or going to Skybound and saying like trying to get them to twist Christian's arm to have him play again, or to bring back Clark Wolf for a match, or to bring back Rachel Cushing for a match. I mean, they had their time. They've left a huge impact and a legacy. And to be honest, whoever they're doing, either if it's on the desk, either it's for interviews, or they're just there on SCN, I enjoy seeing them there. And I will always like smile, or like my heart's gonna skip a beat the next time I see them again on SCN. Like let's say in a hypothetical situation, Mark Ellis does step away from the Schmoedown, and we don't see him for like a year, maybe a whole season. The moment he shows back up on a Schmoedown show, like Schmoedown begins, then all of a sudden you see right there in the studio Christian and Mark Ellis. If you're not gonna freak out seeing that, I don't know what is up with you. Or hell, you see Mark Ellis at a live event again. That's why I swear the moment we get a live event in for the Schmoedown gets a live event, I don't care where. I'm pretty sure Mark Ellis is going to get a huge damn pop, not because it's a live show, but because he's there to get the crowd to get the energy of the crowd going.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, as much as I would love to continue, let's just wrap up here. Go around the table for. I mean, I've already said like my final thoughts, mainly on Mark Ellis. But Ben, Jay, you guys have any more final thoughts?
I mean, you mainly said it. I mean. Yeah, I just enjoy Mark Ellis right now. He's a great Schmoedown personality, and he always brings joy to everyone. Mm-hmm. You gotta love him.
Yeah. And as far as me, I'll just reiterate what I said before. You know, Christian is obviously the face of the Schmoedown, but without Ellis, man, it wouldn't be here at all, and it certainly would not be what it is today. And we need to remember to give Ellis his due props when we give Christian his. So
yeah. They literally are hand in hand with each other. You really can't talk about a Schmoedown of Mount Rushmore, a Rushmo. Okay, I know you're in there, David. A Rushmo of Schmoedown greats. If you don't have Harloff and Ellis on there, they're immediately the automatic two you put in there. And like I said earlier on, in our Hall of Champions, Ellis is one of the first few faces you see walking in, and he's going to be one of the last ones you see walking out, because he is that much of because he's a strong foundation.
Absolutely.
Right. But we are going to be signing off for here, ladies and gentlemen. So before we go, we want to thank you all for coming on here with us. Just to listen to us talk about Mark Ellis. I mean, yeah, we may have not talked too much about his matches, but I mean, come on. I mean, Ellis he's like a huge chunk of the Schmoedown, to where we could have easily done like a top 10 of our favorite Ellis moments, and we still could have taken a whole hour to talk about that. So wrapping up, Ben, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at my Twitter at MidRadio2. You can also find me at my other YouTube channel, Media Studies Network.
Jay, thank you for joining on us. Taking the time to join us. Where can everyone find you?
Y'all can find me on the Twitter and on stereo at JWade1134. That's the letter J, WADE 1134. Also on stereo and Twitter at the JCast Network, which is my YouTube channel, where I do a sports talk show for Schmoedown called Speaking of Schmoedown. That's every Saturday, live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time to 4 p.m. Eastern time. We have great guests on there. Had Paul Preston on today. Got some big announcements coming up on the 24th. I would say check it out. The first 10 minutes at least of speaking to Schmoedown on the 24th. We got big announcements for 2 new shows coming to my channel. So we're adding some more content that is not Schmoedown related. So it'll be fun.
Definitely, we'll make sure to make sure like drop that. We'll make sure to like drop a comment in there just so people can know to find your show when they look back on this episode. And everyone, you can definitely find me on Twitter. You can see at the bottom score Caramel Under Pain, or our Twitter handle at Mount Schmoedown. It's been inactive for a few weeks, but we're gonna get it back up and going. But other than that, you guys can definitely check us out here on Mount Schmoedown YouTube channel. We're part of the Schmoes of the North. Our YouTube channel is still active. It has still our old episodes on there, but we're mainly here on Schmoes of the North Network. Once again, signing off for Jay Wade, Ben Brainer. I'm Ryan Payne. Thank you all for coming out here and joining us today on Saturday. Now I'm wishing that my computer would pause because I'm starting to break.
Have a good one, everyone. See you next week.
Next week, guys.